1878 casuals. It's Sinatra again. I got LA's top one, Bandito. And I got the maddest face of all time, Casey Gale. And we're talking the tune. All right, boys. So
Jordies.
So Thursday,
the horse
the
punchers coming into town.
So besides goal and goal two, well, no, he's playing for Real Madrid in goal two. So besides goal, what do we know about the tune? We know that this is a proper looking side compared to normal years. This is like, I feel like this is almost like a 90s United Newcastle, like encounter where there's actually, some at stake. This is a Newcastle side that can actually play. Eddie Howe's a good manager.
This is a side that put 3 on City and kind of bottled it at the end to get the draw.
Right. They look better than we did against fucking City.
Yeah.
Pardon my language there.
So this is a different squad than the finishing 13th, 12th, and 11th consecutively that the tune has. So this is they've got that live money. They're on that live golf blood money thing, so they're gonna ride that. So they've got some decent players.
Saint Maximin, right?
Maximin,
he's a pretty good player.
He's a fun player to watch.
Yeah.
Right? Carries the ball. I think he has like the most successful dribbles in the league. And I was watching earlier that match with them in City, and he was just having a field day. He was enjoying his football, carrying the ball forward, cut back passes, drawing 2 or 3 defenders, and then leaving the space for the pass off. They've got their own Bruno, Brazilian. He's a sound, solid player. And so that takes some of the pressure off of like Joe Linton and Almiron, and so they've got a decent squad, and this is hopefully we got our form back and we get things going. But this is a pretty even game, I think.
And they've got some new signings, right? Like they got that Isak, the Swedish guy, real tall striker.
Yeah, so Licha's gonna feel right at home because all their attacking players are like 5'9".
Right, Almiron too, right? They've still got Almiron. They got familiar with him. MLS, the Premier League.
Their back line is like 6'6", 6'4". They're still old school, center backs like that. So it'll be interesting to see set pieces, corners, how we deal with that size. But their attacking 3 is Licha's going to feel right at home.
And they've got a decent midfield, right? They got Joe Willock in there. They've got John Joe Shelby.
They got Bruno. They got Joe
John Joe Shelby's just a pain in the ass.
Right? And he's like one of those guys that like shaves his head on purpose, so he's a fucking nutter.
What I think about Newcastle, they're a well put together team. This is the foundation of what they want to be. They want to be a team that is able to come at you. The French guy, what's his name? Maximum? Yeah, he's a pain in the ass. But the only thing is he has great movement. He attacks you. He attacks you. He's not the best finisher, but you still got to play him because he gets in good positions. He could pass. He's just so weird when he comes at you. It's like a hurricane coming at you real fast. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, he's got like.
It's gonna be a good challenge.
His timing's kind of.
But
weird.
I think our defense will be up for it. I'm confident our defense will, figure it out. This is a game we need to win the midfield battle. Another one because they have a decent midfield.
And it's gonna have to be a little patience, right? It can't be Bruno trying low percentage type of.
Yeah, because they're going to be coached up.
He's got to retain the ball a little bit.
Yeah, they're going to be coached up too.
This is a game for Eriksen to come back in, right? We need Eriksen back in the midfield to control it.
Yeah, so midfield for me, Casemiro, Eriksen, and Bruno. I think.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
You hate it the way we say Casemiro's name. You say it's so relevant. It's so romantic when you say it.
Casemiro.
I
I
call
don't.
him Case
I don't
Marrow.
know.
Case.
You know, the only one that's kind of weird. What was it with Martinez? But
Martinez.
if you're growing up in the UK and you have that Martinez, yeah, I can understand that a little bit. But if you
Nobody
grew
from
up in the
Southern
Valley
California
or
should be
something
saying
like that, you're trying to
Martinez.
say Martinez. Come on.
But even
Yeah, okay.
Angel, they were calling him Angel. Remember Rooney be like, oh yeah, Angel. They said,
Yeah.
nuts.
Okay,
All
go
right,
ahead.
so
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, Benny. You were saying something.
Yeah, I think that's our best midfield. Casemiro had like some really good shots on goal. He missed a free header. Rattled the bar on one. So I
He's gonna
think
score
what we're
something.
seeing is him like actually push up a little more. Like we didn't think he would do that, right? As a six. So in those games where we're having a lot of possession and they're sitting back, he's gonna creep up and he's gonna be involved in the build up.
Yeah,
So that's good to see.
so for me,
yeah.
this last game on Thursday, even though we got the win, which is the most important thing, we looked a little labored. Obviously, we should have the possession and the shots and the, shots on goal against the side like that, but we weren't really, like, yeah, we were working the keeper a little bit, but not like great, right? Anytime you see a keeper make the acrobatic saves, everybody's like, oh, what a great save. But that's his job, right? Job one, keep the ball out of the net. What do we got to do against Newcastle to, change that labored performance into something smooth like
Yeah,
we're used to seeing?
good point, because we scored one goal and we had a 4.5 xG expected goal. If we do that against Newcastle, if we have that kind of ratio, we're not going to win, because they're going to put goals up against us. They're going to put a goal. They're good for a goal against us, I believe. And if we squander, a 3 xG and only get one goal out of it, we have to be more clinical. So Rashford, he's got to be more. Find the corners, Rashford. Find the corners, and we got to get good service into the man Ronaldo. Yeah, so we have to be more clinical in our finishing. That's a good point.
And what is it about playing at home that we just don't seem as comfortable as we do sometimes on the road? You ever notice that? Like in recent years, we just don't seem as comfortable at Old Trafford. Do we need to just start playing better at home? Is the crowd factor into it? I just always feel
I
like
don't think
because Matt Face, man was out there doing sports on a big stadium with the crowd. More pressure at home with the crowd. You're expected to do more, or away? What in your experience, what do you think?
That's a great question. Yeah, you kind of it's a little bit different. You don't want to let people down at home. On the road, you just have this attitude like, oh, fuck them, it's us against the world. But at home, you're like, all right, so and so's here. I just want to focus. I don't want to make. He says things like, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to. So you kind of come in there with this attitude like, all right, this is my parents' first game here. Okay, calm down. Saying don't get too excited. So you bring in extra factors instead of saying like, you should be like, oh, let's go perform for our people. Let's show them what we're doing. But I just think, but for United, it's different because it's pressure. You don't like. I felt bad for those dudes. They said all last year. They said we didn't like being the worst team in United's history, and they said that it was killing them. So now Delo says this year we're trying to be the guys who bring United back to greatness. So I think it's
a lot of
they play
pressure.
better at home though. Yeah, it's more pressure. It's just rough. United is a definitely. You can't compare what I played in the United. That's pressure because there's a museum. There's the greatest son in the world over here. You just got to be like, and then the fan base is very knowledgeable. Very knowledgeable. That's another thing.
And they
can't pull no wool over our eyes.
They can get really negative too if they don't see
Yeah.
the style of play they want.
Yeah, that's a question I had for Bandito as somebody that's a world traveler. So, comparative United home to, United away, either in the Premier League or, a Euro away. What is that like? What's the differences? Is it the crowd? Is it a younger crowd? Is it a geezer crowd? Is it louder on the road? What are the differences?
In my experience, at home you get a bit of well, you've got the every week going, home fan. It is a little older crowd at Old Trafford because you're not going to let your ticket go. Obviously, you're going to hold on your ticket. So you've got fans that have been in their seat for 30 years. But then you've got younger fans coming in and trying to create an atmosphere as well. I will say, some of the times when we're retaining the ball and we're recycling, right? The fans, they really get upset by that. It's attack, attack, attack. And for example, Everton, they're playing a low block. Well, how do you get them out of that low block? You recycle the ball back, and that's going to trigger them to press, and that's going to create space, right? That's simple football. So that was happening, and people, the groans, and it starts to get real negative. Now, when we're scoring, it's all great. It's loud, and everyone's up for it, and you can see the players feeding off the energy in the crowd. Away, it's obviously, it's very sought after. That's the allocation for away side and maybe 3,000. So you've got half of Manchester trying to get their hands on these tickets, and it's it's the hardcore fans that win or lose, they're going to support the team, and it's pretty wild. It's even the City match when we're getting 4-0, it was there was still fans there, and trying to support their team. That's like, hey, that's when they need it the most. So, and yeah, absolute limbs in the away end at Everton. It's packed, wooden floor. People were falling over the seats. People were grabbing onto each other, like to not take a header over the steps. It was wild. So I would suggest to anyone, obviously, Old Trafford, you got to do it. You got to make the pilgrimage if you have the means. If you don't have the means, you don't. But I think if you've done a decent home match, I would suggest trying to get it away, because it's a great experience.
Well, that's great. That's dope. And I'm glad that we have somebody like you on the channel that can share that love and knowledge with us. And
I try to do it. And let me tell you, people in Manchester, they were very welcoming. They're like, oh, you're here from Los Angeles to Manchester to see United. Like, oh, that's dedication, and that's what separates this club from Newcastle. You're not gonna folks from around the world following some of these smaller clubs. So it was very positive experience. There were some people that are not happy that their local club has fans from around the world, and they're going to be upset. That's I can't do anything about that. But for the most part, I would say 95% of people they're really chuffed that their local club has this following from around the world, and people come in and don't go there and be an ugly American. Just go in, soak up the culture. We don't have the right way. We have our way, but that's not the right way, for everybody. So go in there, soak up the culture, and enjoy. And folks are saying, yeah, I got to come out to LA and check you guys out, and see. Get you guys in the pub and all that. So
hey, it's a piss up. It's a piss up in the pub. We're not gonna lie. It's a piss
that's
up.
what I'm saying. Like, for us, it's all about the pub and getting in with the boys. So it was a great experience.
I'm sure they've got that culture right for the fan in England that can't necessarily get their hands on a ticket or don't have the means. They've got the whole pub culture over there. in their own right.
Absolutely. And it's if kickoff is at like 4 in the afternoon, 7 in the morning, you're out already on Deansgate getting in, and then after the match, it's down to the Crombie, as they say, the Abercrombie. So there's a lot of United only kind of pubs, and I got some weird looks, and I got like fuck City and all this, and I just I'm like, no, they don't recognize me, so I'm like, no, I'm a red homie, so.
That's funny. They see it here in America, they automatically assume plastic. They're like,
I had to show them a couple times, like, oh yeah.
He said, "Fuck City."
Yeah, I'm like, fuck City. Homie, like, nah. So it was cool. Really, really enjoyed it.
Well, that is top.
That was a good trip, though.
Yeah, we got to get the videos. We're gonna get the videos all cut up, so that's coming in the future for sure.
We're gonna have to be smart with our shots. We can't have like them transitioning a lot, like countering us, because they're gonna go. That's one thing. This team once they get going, they go, and they're gonna try us. They're gonna test us with long balls, everything. They're disciplined on defense because they want you to make mistakes. I know we had 30-something shots, or was it that many? But a lot of those shots were from bad angles. It was like, why shoot that? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of bad angles, and that's the shit we can't do against Newcastle.
Yeah, that's my complaint that's my complaint for Rashford sometimes, is as great of a player as he is, sometimes I think he forces it a little bit too much sometimes, and I think if he can get away from doing that and just back to the basics sometimes, and the whole team, that goes for the whole team, I think we can, find a lot more success and score a lot more goals. But so in terms of like we were saying before in the previous video, Ten Hag has made it clear that he's going to play the best 11 that's going to, have the potential to win the game. So what's our best 11
Varane
now
should
going
be back.
in?
Varane is
I was going to say,
definitely
is Varane's back?
Yeah, I think you bring the Rolls Royce out of the garage. And
yeah, he played in the last game, so he's back.
Here's my question. So we haven't been able to give Delo a break because Wan-Bissaka has been injured. Do you throw Lindelof in at right back? He's capable of playing there.
No, he's going to put it. He could put Malacia there. He did that before.
Malacia at right back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he put Malacia back there before he puts Lindelof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, Shaw is had the best effect on the game. So I think Luke Shaw has got his starting job back, and fair play to him, because a lot of people say
he worked hard. He's still the character.
Steak bakes and collect a check, and that's it. But no, he's worked himself.
He showed that it means the fuck to him. I like that. He showed that I want to play for United, and whatever the other guy's going through, who doesn't accept responsibility. I'm not saying no names, but he should look over to, Shaw's going to be playing good for England. He's going to be in form. I'm proud of Luke Shaw, because that's the only person I said, that's the only position I can see someone taking, and I want him to go for it, and he went for it. And now we're going to see the best of Luke Shaw. That's the best part.
I know. Shout out to Luke, because giving up your Greg's sausage bake for the veggie bake, man, that's tough. I feel for man. I would have told Ten Hag.
What about Scotty McTominay? Now he's an attacking midfielder.
I know I'm glad Scotty came off, from his little cat nap, to nab the winner, because not having him on Sunday,
he took like 3 shots in that game.
Yeah, that's
I think Ten Hag knows who he is. He's like, Scotty, go in there and shoot. You go shoot. Fuck that. You shoot. Ten Hag's seen something in practice, but Scotty, shoot the ball.
Something that's a little known about Scotty.
Loud as hell. Sorry, everybody.
A little known fact about Scotty was, his last year playing when it was still the under 23s, before he was fully in the first team, we didn't have a striker because we had Rashford, had jumped up and made his debut. And then what was that other striker's name we had?
Was it Black?
Don't worry about the names. Just tell the story. Don't worry about the names. Just tell the story.
Whatever.
Don't worry about the names.
So both of them were out on loan, and so Scott ended up playing the whole season at striker. 6'4" up there. And so it's the boy can finish. And to be wondering, like, where's that come from? It's because he's versatile, man. He was a midfield player and then had a growth spurt. And that's why he's still, back there as
And then
our,
Mourinho
fucking
saw him.
hammer. But yeah, they stuck him up there at striker for a whole year, and man was on it. Scored quite a few goals.
Are we allowed to talk about another elephant in the room?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you see about the girlfriend dropping the charges?
On Greenwood? Where is this?
Yeah.
When's this been reported on? I haven't seen nothing, man.
I saw it on One Football.
One football.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at this
I saw
point,
the app. It said the girlfriend.
let me say this. At this point, it doesn't matter if the family wants to drop charges or they want to pursue charges. It's in the hands of the courts, and the courts are going to pursue. So obviously, if
Oh, is it?
they're not going to cooperate, it makes the prosecution's job a little more difficult.
Oh,
But
yeah, it's really not on
it's
the
in the, it's in
girlfriend.
the hands of the
Her
court.
dropping the charges don't matter.
Yeah.
You're right, Bandito. That was just clickbait. Sorry, guys, I got caught for clickbait.
Well, that and we've already heard the rumblings of they've taken money, and that the club had hush money, and there's a lot of different stories coming around it. I don't think we're ever going to know the total truth, but like Bandito was saying, and until the courts come out and say, one way or the other, we're going to trial, we're dropping charges, whatever. There's no story, and we're still legally we're bound to keep him sort of on the books, because you can't just null and void contracts over nothing. So unfortunately he's still going to have a place in the official team, but as far as that's concerned, as far as anybody's aware, he's still banned from all football activities. He's not at Carrington, he's not at Old Trafford, he's not in the
How much time we got left?
match day. We're at
I'm sorry I brought up
8.5
Mason.
minutes.
I'm sorry. Forgive me, gentlemen.
So here's my next topic that we didn't bring up last week. De Gea. Does De Gea deserve a new contract, or are we goalkeeper shopping? Or do we bring Henderson back? Is that even an option?
He can get a new contract if he take a little pay cut, my nigga, because you making way too much money for a goalie. I'm sorry. We can't have it. If we're having money problems like they saying, we got to reduce the hair.
What do you think, Bandito?
I don't think he's going to get a new contract because not that he's not a good keeper for us, but like you're saying, it really messes it really fucks up the pace structure, and then well, why isn't Bruno's people are going to be like, well, why are we not making this kind of money, and so on and so forth. So I think as good as David De Gea has been for us, and he is a world-class shot stopper, I think that we're going to start. I think the club is going to start looking for a keeper that can play out of the back and has a little more quality with the ball at his feet, distributing the ball.
Do we see Henderson even as an option coming back, or has he soiled himself from the club with all that?
Too much.
Shit.
I think it's he was chatting shit, now he's going to get banged. So I don't even think he wants that as an option himself. So I think maybe he's moved on. I think the club has moved on. I think they're going to look for someone to buy out that contract.
It's interesting that he was loaned out again, that we didn't even sell him permanently this season, when he made it clear, like, I don't want to see Ten Hag, I don't want to put myself through that again. It's interesting that it was still yet another loan.
And I was like, he doesn't have to see me again, ever. He can go.
All right, so what are our score predictions?
What's the lineup? Shit.
Our strongest lineup.
Our attackers. Is Martial out still? He's out, right?
Yeah, he's still out. So likely it's going to be Rashford, Ronaldo, Antony.
Ooh, Sancho.
Yeah, for me, it's De Gea in goal. Luke Shaw back in. Lisandro Martinez, and if fit, everything is kind of based on if he's fit. Varane. If not, I think Lindelof is ahead of Maguire,
Oh yeah.
fit or not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Hell yeah.
and then the Iron Man Delo out on the right. I think our best midfield is Casemiro, Eriksen, and Bruno. And then our attacking is Rashford, the GOAT, getting his goals, and Anthony.
I agree.
And I want to see Anthony, use the right, go out wide, beat a man, cross the ball in.
Yeah, we
Let's
don't want to
see
see just a one-trick pony, right? Just always with the left. That gets old after a while.
If it's a good trick, I'll watch it all day.
A one-trick pony.
If every time I see that trick, I go, woo!
It is a pretty.
But
good
yeah,
trick
you're
to
right.
have
He's really defensible though. You could be like, no, I'm gonna make you go to the right. Fuck that. I'm staying over this side. You gotta show us something else. And someone's gonna do that.
You bring up a good point about Lindelof. Even though he's never been our most physical defender, and white men can't jump, but does Harry Maguire ever get back in the team? Like ever? Like, is there any way, or is he done, playing for Manchester United?
I think he's the 4th pick. So there's got to be two injuries for starters to for him to come in. So yeah, Mr. Maguire, captain, start looking for a move, because I think that's going to be the best thing for him.
I think
and for the club.
Yeah, this relationship should be done. And it's like he just got exposed too much, and it was. I just don't like the reactions he gave us though. The leaking of there's no one around him athletic enough. If I was there and this person was there, don't do that. Come on. Come on.
It's not a good look. It's especially when when you can't take self-reflection or accept any blame or responsibility, and you're pointing fingers. That's not a good look, especially for the captain.
Yeah. So
if he tells me what happened in Greece, I'll trust him. Tell us what really happened in Greece.
Yeah, I mean, under Ollie's, counterattacking football, he was serviceable, right? He was available, playing every match on a side that finished second and third, right? So, and then things changed, and he's not willing to change. He's like, oh, I'm still that great player. So, yeah, be more like Luke. Work, be challenged.
What an example.
Change your game if you have to fit. Pick up, pick yourself up and work yourself in the team. That's what we want to see from a United player.
That's the best example.
That's the hallmarks of a great player, right? Your ability to adapt to change, right? Because it's never going to be, roses every week or exactly what you want. It's sad that we thought with Paul Pogba going that sort of negativity was out of the team, but it shows that he was just as much of a part of that as anybody else was.
Well, it's like England's national team that makes me think like that. They reward him with the national team when he doesn't deserve to be there. So in his mind, he's like, I'm going to play. I should be playing. Why am I not playing? Instead of, I'm going to go work hard. I'm going to lose some weight. I'm going to get quicker on my feet and, do some drills. He's just saying, but why am I not playing? You guys told me I was going to play. The old group of people did. You got to work hard. Luke Shaw is amazing. Luke Shaw is going to he's going to get rewarded from this. People are going to acknowledge him like, you're a great player.
And what is that to say?
I'm going to ask you this something. Ollie played a lot of people hurt, didn't he, Ollie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like. And then, it's also telling that, a lot of these record signings, not counting Anthony, at the moment, but, all of our record signings right now are not still at the club. Your Paul Pogba's, your Harry Maguire's, like none of them are working out, right? It just shows you what that does to you when you send up spend that kind of money.
Woodward.
Yeah, Woodward. And you don't really, know what you're getting. All right, we're down to less than a minute, so I guess let's wrap it up here. Final thoughts before we're going into Newcastle.
I see 2-1.
2-1.
Us, of course. Everybody questioning who I was going to say taking the win.
Yeah, 2-1 who? Yeah, for me, I'm gonna go with the same. I think it's a 2-1. The teams are 5 and 6 on the table. So yeah, 2-1. I'll be happy with that.
All right, everybody, like and subscribe. 1878 Casuals. We're brought to you by Terrace Colt and Moo Mia Ice Cream. We'll see everybody Sunday at O'Brien's. Up the Reds.